Hey everybody, I'm Tim Mooney with the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and I'm back once again with our latest edition of the Home Improvement Challenge. I think I'm calling this one the Attic Assault. You can see the attic back over my shoulder back that way. We're going to go up there today, but first let's take a look around and just taking the whole picture of the house here. It's ginormous. Last time we talked, we were working on floors. We're still working on those, and we'll take a look at a little bit of the flooring. There's like 9,000 square feet, I think, before we even talk about the attic or the basement. But we're gonna work our way up to the attic. And today's Shakespeare quote, I think, is going to be from Julius Caesar, in which he says, let me zoom in here on the attic while we're at it. There, we're going to be on the other side of that window. And over there's the chimney, and that chimney reminds me of Julius Caesar, in which Flavius, I believe, says, now I need to zoom back out just to make sure I got the whole thing. There we go. Flavius complains, knew you not, Pompey, many a time and oft have you climbed up to walls, to battlements, to towers and windows, yea, to chimney tops, and there have sat the livelong day to see great Pompey pass the streets of Rome. And do you now put on your best attire? And do you now call out a holiday? And do you now strew flowers in his way that comes in conquest over Pompey's blood? What's ironic about that, and here we go back through this room, I decided to turn this light fixture on, which is another kind of glorious antique. And here we go on up. What's ironic about that is that this is ancient Rome, and they did not have chimneys in ancient Rome. That's one of Shakespeare's biggest mistakes, or what do we call that? I'll think of the word later. But here we go. We're going to stop briefly into this room. You may remember last time around I had just ripped out the carpet, and there was all kinds of gunk on the floor. There still is some. This is the worst spot of the floor, but you can see that, like every other day, I'm giving it a little bit of a scrub down and a sweep up and a mop, and so we're getting there with this. Not quite sure what we're going to do with it. What you can see here, this is a theme that goes throughout this house, is that the middle of the floor is really bad looking. And then they've painted the edges around the sides. And so this is the worst floor just in terms of the quality of the wood. This is all, I think, pine. And we'll take a look at another room for contrast. I will not stop in that one because that's nowhere near what we want to do with it. But back here, theoretically, this is my room we're heading to. Back here, around here, there's the front window again. We're looking out across to where I was just standing a moment ago. But here's the flooring here. Not crazy quite about the orange tint there on there, but you can see around there, this is pine, and I think this edge is oak, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is really impressive stuff. And we have gone to great lengths to run a sander over this floor so that it's all ripe and ready for the next phase. So this central area, I think, is never planned for anything but a rug to be atop it, so that we'll be looking for a rug for that. And there's the spot where I was standing as I started this thing. Across the street, you can see there's some cars. That's the funeral parlor. And there's some sort of visitation going on over there. And here we go, back out this way. Like I said, I can get lost in this house. I'm getting to know the second floor, which is where we've been doing most of our work better, but not so familiar with the basement, which is every bit as elaborate as this is. But here, this is the door to the attic, which also reminds me, the word attic is also an adjective for Athens. And the phrase that I learned that with is attic salt, which the great Demosthenes of Athens was supposed to have great wit, which they called attic salt. But here's the attic. I fell in love with this place when I saw the attic because I could see, you're just seeing a fraction of it here. I'm just going to pan slowly. There's the chimney that we're seeing elsewhere. Continuing on over. There is the turret. Maybe I'll zoom in on that from here if I can figure out. Yes. There we go. The turret has a little bit of not stained, but I think painted glass. And pulling back out from the turret, we can see that there's more space here. And I'm walking, we're walking, we're walking. Barely ever have to even duck my head as I go through here. But here's another space here. This looks out behind the house. And we'll just get a glance out there. There's my car in the back driveway. And there's what we've been calling the pole barn, which is where we're ultimately going to be putting a stage. But let's go back this way. We're trying to decide what to do with these floors, and maybe there's nothing that we can do with them, but maybe some of you who watch this might have an idea. These are much more rough-hewn than the ones that are down on the second floor, and especially more than the ones that are on the first floor. You can see little divots and holes here and there. And I've only barely begun to clear these floors. That corner of the attic was filled with gewgaws and frames and wood and baseboard. And this is going to be my studio. I'm going to use this as a recording studio, which may mean that what we do with the floor is just cover it with carpet to absorb sound. But then we'll also be looking at what we're going to be doing with these beams, which are magnificent. And I put the ladder there for a reason. Oh, that ladder's about 6.5, 7 feet tall. And so you can see that even on this angle of the attic, there is plenty of room to stand up. And there's the ceiling, the beams going across. And once again, here's the window looking out. And for your orientation, there's where I was standing when I began this video. And panning, 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 panning. You can see the vast intricacy of this attic. And I've got a little camera stand there. I'm gonna let go of the camera in a minute, and I'm gonna replace it onto that stand so I can show you a couple other things. I have yet to set this up as a studio, but I'm getting close right now. This time around, I have brought up some tripods and some lighting equipment and a backdrop. I won't actually put the backdrop up, but I'm going to show you how that's going to go. One of the things discovered here, a cardboard box of old curtains, very thick, very heavy curtains. And as a theater here, I may be able to make use of those. But anyway, I cleaned out that corner. Over here, we've got like screens to replace the storm windows during the summer. And here's all that woodwork, baseboard stuff that I was talking about. And swinging over this way, old frames and paintings. So far, I haven't noticed anything that I like so much that I would actually want to put it up, but there you go. And over here, old window air conditioning units. All right, so swinging back over here, I'm going to sign off for just a minute while I get a couple things set up, and we'll revisit this in just a second. Talk to you in a moment. Anachronism. Anachronism is the word I was trying to remember before. Shakespeare, you were probably shouting at your screen the whole time I was trying to think of it. Shakespeare didn't care so much about anachronisms. Maybe they didn't even have a word for it back then, but that's what that was. I'm still in the attic, but now I've got the lights set up, so I'm going to just turn this around just so you can see what the setup's going to look like. This is probably really just all you can see is the light, not so much the rest of the attic, but it turns it into a nice little studio. Okay, so while you weren't looking, I took that piece of curtain that I was working with, turned it to the back side out, so the orange side is actually facing the street. This is the back side, which is looks like it's dark brown. Maybe it was intended to be black with some orange streaks in it. But that's just going to be to block the light. And I'm just going to back it off a little bit here. Whoops, that's the wrong direction. Here we go. And I'm going to need a couple more pieces like that to effectively block the light. Now I'm going to pan up for a second, just so, and I turned the lights towards the ceiling there, so you can see the upper rigging of the attic. And what I'm going to do is, and I'll walk in front of it, not sure how much you'll see of me in this. Let me just pan down just a touch. There we go. That'll probably give us as much as we need. So I have this black backdrop. I actually have a black and a silver and a gray. And what I'm going to do is affix it to these cross beams here. And that will be my backdrop. And there's got a rip in it because it tore a little bit on travel, but this unrolls at great length. And that will also block the light, but it will also be a nice backdrop where I can do videos such as this one. So let me excuse my intrusion on the viewing space there. So I normally, as I perform, I sit at a desk. I've got a camera facing this way, a camera this way, a camera this way, and I perform my one-man shows that way, changing characters as I look at different cameras and getting different angles, and then it all gets edited together, as opposed to this, which is all relatively spontaneous. We do have a fundraiser ongoing to actually turn this space into a studio and to turn the pole barn outside into a rehearsal space. Let me give you just a quick little idea of what's ahead of us here. Over here, we have like the only one electrical source that actually runs to the attic, so we're going to have to pull some electricity up here. But I've got that going into a cord, which goes into a series of outlets that are where? Right over there. And what we've got is right now 3 lighting instruments plugged into that one source of power. So between the floors and the electricity and the rugs and setting up the backdrop and all that stuff that we're going to be investing in. The other thing is probably we're going to need some insulation, if only to muffle some of the sound bouncing off of the rafters. So this has been the Home Improvement Challenge. I think we're calling this episode Attic Attack or Attic Assault. Attic Assault, that's what it is. It's Attic Assault. I'm going to assault this attic and try to figure out what to do with it. And as I was telling you before, I've only managed to clean a little bit of the flooring here so far. Anybody has any ideas on what the best way to go at this? Please leave your ideas in the comments below. Otherwise, it's all just going to get a big rug thrown over it so that it doesn't make a lot of noise and it doesn't bounce a lot of sound back off of it to make it harder to hear. So that's the attic one. Here's one more pan. Please don't pan this video. That's my only instance of attic salt. There we go. So, thanks for joining me. Tell your friends, tell your home improvers who want to come and try out their skills on this vast palette of artwork that this space and this building is going to be. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.